There is something that virtually all nations have in common, and that is a constitution. This document is both the foundation and the central pillar of that government. Anything that goes contrary to the Constitution may be regarded as a threat to that government. Each constitution has what is called a preamble. It is an introductory passage that identifies who is writing the Constitution and what they hope to achieve. Usually in the preamble we find the expression, "We the people desire to do this or that." God also has a government. His Constitution is the law, the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments, and it also has a preamble. This preamble is found in verses 1 and 2 of Exodus 20, and they say, "And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." This is the preamble to the constitution of God's universal kingdom. I repeat these words, God's universal kingdom. God's kingdom has one constitution, one document that serves as its foundation, a document that holds that government together. Without that document, God's government would topple. That document is the Decalogue, or better known as the Ten Commandments. Listen to one verse of the preamble, verse 2 of Exodus 20. "I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." Implicit in that statement is the assumption if God brings a person out of bondage, God brings the person into freedom to serve him. You go from one master to another, but the second master offers freedom, which the first did not. God identifies himself as a powerful being. "I am the one who conquered those who subjugated you. I am the one who delivered you from your captor. I am the one who did for you what you absolutely could not do for yourself, and that was to deliver yourself." And so God says in his preamble to his constitution, a preamble he wrote, "I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." Because of this power, this ability to deliver, to maintain, to sustain, to defend, to save, God proceeds to list the items in the Constitution. "Thou shalt have no other gods before me," all the way down from 1 to 10. But my focus is always the fourth. The fourth commandment is part of the Constitution of God, and it comes under the preamble. "I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. I who delivered you am able to help you to keep this fourth commandment." Or the fifth, or the ninth, or the 10th, or the first. Every one of the 10 commandments has as its backing the power of God in the life of the believer. My dear friend, the preamble to the universe's constitution, which is the 10 commandments, that preamble contains a statement of the power of God to enable you to obey him. The Bible tells us in Psalm 105, the last verse of that psalm, God brought the Israelites out that they might obey him. And God provides the power, the wherewithal, the ability to obey, because the obedience God requires is obedience to a divine standard. The Constitution of God is a divine document, and fallen human beings, unaided, cannot obey that Constitution. God promises the power to obey. The very power that delivered them is the power available to them to obey God and to live in harmony with the Constitution of his universal kingdom. My listening friend, listen to me very carefully. On the basis of God's preamble to his Constitution, you can keep the seventh-day Sabbath, regardless of the obstructions and the barriers you think you see. God has promised in the preamble to his Constitution that you can keep the Sabbath holy. Why is it you can? Because the power to do it is available to you through your Redeemer, Jesus Christ. And I say Jesus Christ deliberately because it was he who spoke the commandments from Mount Sinai. As you keep the Sabbath holy, my listening friend, reflect, meditate deeply on the preamble to God's constitution. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And if I have the power to that, that same power will enable you to live in harmony with all 10 articles of this constitution, particularly the central article, the fourth commandment, the Sabbath commandment, which identifies me, gives my title and the area of my reign. May the Lord bless you, doubly bless your children, my dear friends, as you accept into your heart the reality that the power to obey God is expressed in his preamble, and he desires you to take that preamble very, very seriously. He can enable you to live in harmony with his constitution, his law. Happy Sabbath, and God bless you abundantly.